morning, Azeroth. Broadcasting live from the trade district of Stormwind.
Hey, who rerouted arcane relay through the coffee pot again?
Coffee's done.
Hang on. I think we got it.
This is Azeroth Morning Radio. Warcraft for the rest of us.
It's Tuesday morning, and you know what that means. A brand new episode of Azeroth Morning Radio.
Good fortune to you.
Good fortune to you. I'm going to quiz you, and I want you to tell me what race that is. Folks, welcome to the show. We are your hosts. Well, actually, before we even get there, folks, this is Warcraft for the rest of us here. The casuals, 9-to-5ers, all of us hard-working parents, grandparents. Welcome in, friends. We're your hosts. My name's Jibbs, and I'm joined by Cash.
Ooh, man, you kind of hung it up there for a second.
Yeah, I was kind of wanting to leave you hanging just for a minute. Just for a minute.
You know what I've realized, bud?
What?
We are 34 episodes in, and we still haven't found out who rerouted the arcane relay through the coffee pot.
It is a mystery. We need to hire, what's the guy's name? The NPC from Westfall, the detective.
Oh, you're killing me because now I'm on the hook, but I know exactly
what I'm saying.
About.
Yeah. Anyway.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Chad will tell us because I love that. I love that dude. That's actually a really fun question. Horatio.
Yeah.
That's it. There you go.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. I just remember Azeroth Public Radio, and the the boys over there did a wonderful Horatio Lane bit. It was fantastic. That's the only way I remember his name. Anyway.
I love those guys.
Me too.
This show's a love letter to them.
Absolutely it is. Much love to you, Coltrane, shoe boots. What race was that?
That was a gnome.
Nope. A gnome.
What?
Nope.
That's not how you say it? Gnome?
Yeah, that sounds like something I would say, actually.
Huh.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so let's break them down.
Yep.
So it's not a gnome.
Not a gnome.
Is it a goblin?
Hey, when on planet Azeroth have I ever sounded like that? Huh? You bum.
I've never known a goblin to sound so sweet and innocent.
It's not a niffin.
Oh, don't you know there is?
There's not enough northern accent there.
Chat's guessing Draenei female. Nope. Guess again.
Yeah, it is very. Yeah, Tay's right. Very Mickey Mousey.
Mm-hmm. You want the answer?
I kind of do at this point.
Volpera.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Volpera. They're so cute. They're like little Furbies, man.
The other mini race that I couldn't think of right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. I've had a long week.
Yeah, you have.
And unfortunately, it hasn't been filled with World of Warcraft. But no, I'm in another class. So it was pretty much a Monday through Thursday. I had enough time during the week to get my delve line filled out and run some of the content, and especially the content I said that was kicking my butt last week.
Yeah,
I actually reran. What are we calling those?
Ritual sites.
Thank you very much. I reran a ritual site, and actually I ran 2 of them. I ran 3 of them because I ran 2 maxed out, and then I ran 1 maxed out with you. And it turns out I just sucked last week.
Well, you know what though? Honestly, I think this is the second time we've seen nerfs to Guardian within the last week. So I don't think it's just you. I know Guardians, they got hit.
Yes, and we did get we got one of our listeners that cued me into that because I typically don't look at patch notes every single week when it comes to classes and like what's happening, what's not happening. But it does make sense. So maybe it was a combination of a small nerf and just the fact that I sucked last week was probably the best way to explain it. But I was able to get through them and they were fun. And then you and I ran one with 9 challenges and we had a blast.
I love it, man. I really love it. Good time. And the more gear you get, the better it gets, easier it gets. I did one today, yesterday. All the challenges enabled, and holy cow, man. Easy sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, good. I mean, especially for tanks, it takes a little bit of time.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
But it is very, very doable. So I was happy about that. But man, last week I was so exhausted last week. So I'm literally trying to go through them and I'm falling asleep at the keyboard on a couple of those tries. And I just kept dying. I was just like, okay, I got to turn this game off right now and go suck my thumb for a little while, which is what I did. And then this week it came back and it's much better. Good.
Yeah, man, it's been a good week. And Warcraft for me, it's been a very busy week with work and family life, but I've been able to get some time in and ritual sites. Yeah, like my whole rotation continues to be a ritual site. In this case, I'm going to just keep doing them on repeat until I get max key shards. And then if I'm not doing that, I'm doing delves. Just really working on getting that maxed out. And once I get that stuff maxed out, my gear in a good spot, I want to max out Prey. And but yeah, just having a great time. Just watching the WoW community, watching Wowhead. We got some fun stuff we're gonna be talking about today, and yeah, man, good times.
Yeah, I think before we get to the fun stuff today, we're gonna bring the mood down just a little bit. Speaking of, we paid tribute to World of Warcraft legend. Goodness, not lesson. Here today on the show, we're gonna chat about the casual state of the game and discuss if players really want. This came up, what I think it was a comment on YouTube. Do players really want WoW 2? We're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the show. We talked about that last week and we promised to dive into it. Yep. So today we are. And the other thing we promised last week, Jibs, before you take us to the commercial break. Gosh. We promised that we would watch the Remarkable Life of Ibelin. And boy, did we. Yeah, buddy. Friends, I'm going to leave it at that until we get to the segment. Folks, well, thank you so much for push and play, hanging out with us here today. Your show starts right now.
Attention. This is a Goblin News Network emotional preparedness alert. Listeners of Azeroth Morning Radio are advised that tonight's Heroes Callboard segment contains elevated levels of feelings, including nostalgia, watery eyeballs, emotional critical strikes, and spontaneous reflection about old guildmates you ain't talked to since Mists of Pandaria. Medical professionals recommend that all adventurers secure the following before proceeding: 1 beverage, 1 comfortable chair, and emergency tissues within arm's reach. Warning signs may include quiet staring at login screens, softly humming Grizzly Hills music, and whispering, "Yeah, World of Warcraft really does feel like home." Tonight's Heroes Callboard discusses the remarkable life of Ibelin and the very real friendships, community, and humanity found inside Azeroth. GNN reminds all listeners, behind every character name is a real person with a real story. This is normally Jibs' thing, but I'm stealing it from him on this particular occasion. And now, the Heroes Callboard.
Heroes Call. Friends, tonight on Heroes Callboard, we're going to talk about the one documentary in the Netflix space that has officially reduced a couple of hardened adventurers across Azeroth into puddles of emotion. Because that is exactly what the Remarkable Life of Ibelin did. And this was recommended to us. And you remember the mail that we got last week, the email that we got that we covered, and there was a recommendation there. And we know that recommendation was there. We know that we should have probably watched this years ago. But I know what I did when I saw the trailer for that. I was like, nope, because I'm a pretty emotional dude, and I knew exactly what was going to happen to me when I watched it. And I think Jibs was the same way. We knew the general story of what the Remarkable Life of Ibelin was about, and I can honestly say that I was terrified to watch it and get through the whole thing. But I'm glad that we did. And I think this is perfect Heroes Callboard material because it really shows something that we talk about on our show all the time, and that is that Azeroth is not just a game to people. So Jibs, let's cover real quick how you were able to get through the Remarkable Life of Ibelin.
With many tissues and many starts and stops, and admittedly, sometimes fast forwards. Like, it was heavy. Oh man, it was heavy. But, I found it incredibly relatable, particularly from a role play standpoint. Just about everything that was discussed, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but that was definitely, something that easily was very relatable.
I agree. And I had to do it in chunks as well, just because of my week. I was in class all week. So I literally consumed this on my iPhone, sitting in my truck at lunchtime. And I had to do it in 2 pretty sizable chunks. And I'm not kidding you. I was in tears from the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, you hear that? What a pansy!
So, and then like off and on through the production, I was in tears, and fully admit that. I'm a big, strong, grown man, and I was in tears. And I'm not kidding you. Particularly when I finished it up today, when I walked back into class, I had to like hide my face because I was almost positive that they were going to think that I was in my truck smoking a doobie because my eyes were bloodshot. And I texted you that very same thing, so I do appreciate you laughing at it twice. But that is the exact truth of how hard it was to get through this. But I really am glad that I did, as a bunch of pictures of doobies.
Oh, I love our chat right now.
Chat.
Well, good old patron chat.
But anyway, friends, I am going to recommend that you watch The Remarkable Life of Ibelin. If you have not seen it, it is about it's a documentary about a World of Warcraft player. I'll kind of set it up here, but it really does prove that things like friendships, your online identity, your offline identity, community, healing, purpose, and the emotional connection that we make with other people inside World of Warcraft can be deeply important to people, and in a lot of cases, life-changing. So let me set this up a little bit. The Remarkable Life of Ibelin is a documentary about Mats Steen, who was a Norwegian gamer living with a form of muscular dystrophy called Duchenne's. And I happen to, in my life, know a person that has Duchenne's. I know a family that's dealing with it with their child, and it is brutal. It is a brutal disease, where the muscles basically over time are degrading, and the prognosis is not good for people with Duchenne's. But Matt's family believed that he lived an isolated life. As he grew up, he went from being able to walk to not being able to walk to being confined to a wheelchair, and, grew into his 20s. So had some independence that was given to him as he grew into a man, and he basically lived on his family's property in an apartment. So he had a lot of free time to himself, and in a lot of that free time he played World of Warcraft. A majority of that free time he played World of Warcraft. Well, after he passed at age 25. And after he passed, his family still had no idea of the friendships that he had built through World of Warcraft. Well, they were only able to find this out through a blog that he had written. And in writing that blog, they figured that they needed to, let the people who read the blog know that he had passed. So they wrote a final entry on the blog, and they just got a flood of emails back, and they had no idea. So they began to dive into it a little bit. And this world that Ibelin lived, Ibelin was his character's name. They were able to kind of uncover it through his guild leader. And it was an insane story that the producers of this documentary were able to put together. And Jibs, how surprised were you when you saw it go from like a live action documentary and they were able to transition it into Ibelin's story in the World of Warcraft universe with World of Warcraft animations?
I was incredibly surprised and very impressed. Very impressed. It just slurped you right in immediately.
It did. And I mean, you want to talk about watching the tears start to flow again, because now this really means something to us as WoW players, right? So through Ibelin's guild leader, they were able to get the transcripts of basically his character's life in Azeroth, and they turned it into his life in Azeroth. I mean, you're actually watching the things that happened to him in the game through the remarkable animation that they were able to produce. So it was very meaningful to somebody who plays World of Warcraft, and for folks who don't, they're able to see like the visuals of the game and, you know, the things that were able to be created in the game. So I wanted to discuss it a little bit, because one of the main points of this for me is that a lot of people out there, including probably a lot of our, a lot of gamers' parents, probably still think that online friendships are not real.
Oh.
Right?
We're spitting images. We are literally poster childs for that.
Yes, 100% that. So I wanted to discuss a little bit, why do we feel that outsiders still dismiss online friendships as were indicated and exemplified by Matt Steen or Ibelin?
It's a combination of interests, like things that they're naturally, interested in, that puts them in a place where they wouldn't see those relationships taking place, but also misunderstood, Like you and I are spitting images, and Sunny here in chat, like, I met you through an MMO community. You guys need a graphic artist, and there was a logo competition, and that's where it started. Ended up being on staff, then we jumped into doing shows, and, Sunny had more hair at the time. He's in chat. I'm giving him a hard time. Anyway, and I still have a video from an event we did on my private YouTube channel of an event that Sunny held in SWOTOR with Old Republic dads. I still have that video, and I will watch it every now and then just to, relive that. And I say all that to say, like, here we are, 14 years we've been casting, and we've known each other. We've been casting the same amount of time we've known each other. So, yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're my brother. Like, I always wanted an older brother. I got one through gaming.
Oh, you just had to throw the older in there, didn't you?
Well, I'm not 50.
50! No, but you're absolutely right. You are 100% right. And I think, to pigtail on what you're saying, piggyback, that's probably the correct term. To piggyback off of what you're saying, I think people they have a lack of understanding if they haven't experienced it.
Yeah. It's no fault of their own. They just don't know.
Yes, but it's awfully damn judgy.
Well, that's just
I'm going to throw that out there. It is the world.
That's the world, bro.
Just like, welcome to the world, dumbass. But yeah, you're right. It is just the world. They mock things that they don't understand. And I think this is a classic case of that. I've had a lot of people, like when I try to explain to people that my closest friends don't live in the same state, they're, oh, really? Or did they move away? Nope, they've lived there the whole time. And wait a minute. Like, okay, so you have friends that are out of state. Where'd you meet them? Online. No way. And they just cannot make those gears mesh. It just doesn't make any sense to people how online friends could be that close to friends, and particularly through gaming. But when you explain to them the amount of time, sometimes I have to dummy down the amount of time because it's a lot of damn time that we spend in Discord together, playing games together over the years, like it is a formidable amount of hours that we spend together getting to know one another in sometimes what is to us very tense situations.
Yeah.
You know, tons of emotion.
Yep.
Highs and lows when you're succeeding at things and failing at things in game. And then just the times where you're literally just running around a world, picking flowers or crafting or fishing or doing those things. Then it's just like, you know, for us, it's bro time. Just spending time with your brothers and sisters and you're having a great time. But man, the experiences and the relationships that we've been able to build from the online space have transcended that of the online space. Like we've met together in real life and spent time together and broke bread together and got hammered together and fed you so many cigars that you were literally sick in my bathroom together.
I literally you remember I had you check my blood pressure? We were sitting on the couch. I said, man, my heart, can you check my blood pressure? And you're like, yeah, I got you, buddy.
Yeah. Do you think it has anything to do with you lighting 3 cigars off the other ones?
You know what? It makes for great content. Here we are, baby. Lesson learned.
Oh, I know. And you know, likewise in chat, we have Weevil and we have Wataro and we have Sunny in here too. And these are friends of ours. And we have a lot of other friends in here too that we hope to break bread with at some point. Mm-hmm. But, you know, just those 3 examples of friends that we have right here that we have, you know, we've traveled and met in person, and they've traveled here and met us in person and just have done things together because that relationship, that friendship has transcended the online space. And that's why the story of Ibelin hits so hard. Like it truly does hit you hard, because if you've experienced this in real life and, you know, you see the realization of somebody who's battling an illness that eventually takes his life, and he has this whole guild that he's built these relationships with, and they had no idea of what he was going through until what was very close to the end of his life. So those friendships, I think a lot of times those friendships that you can have with people online can often become more honest at times, and they make you more vulnerable as a person at times, because you are sitting behind a keyboard, behind a screen. And when you decide to take that jump and share with people, truly share with people your life, it can be a pretty profound moment. And I think it was in this film for sure. And I know that a lot of us have friends in World of Warcraft that we've known longer than some of your real life coworkers.
Oh,
for sure.
Gosh. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, like, you know, with us, it's a decade and a half. And like, we hope that what we're doing here in World of Warcraft with Azeroth Morning Radio, we can have a decade or more of relationships with people that we're starting to build right now. Yep. So I don't know. Do you have any more on that?
Nope. I think you nailed it.
Okay. I think I nailed it too. It's hard to nail right at, you know, hours, just a few hours of coming off of watching the end of this film. It's like, okay. So that's why we threw that PSA at you guys before this whole thing started. Because these are, you know, it's heavier topics, but I think it transitions nicely into what World of Warcraft is to a lot of people out there, and why sometimes it's so difficult for people to truly understand what games mean to people like us. Like it's our escape. World of Warcraft is a place of freedom for a lot of people. It was for Ibelin. You know, he said several times in the documentary that it was a place where he could be anybody he wanted to be and do anything that he wanted to do the things in the game that he could not do in life physically. And it was just so heartbreaking to watch that happen. But it was also very beautiful to see, you know, here's a person that has limitations, and to watch those limitations disappear, and like illness and struggles and all of that like fades into the background when you can become another person. You can be an explorer, you can be a healer, you can be a leader, you can be a hero. And that's what Ibelin was able to do. Yeah. So
I think that's the beauty of, and in his case, it was role play. Like I said earlier, I can relate to 100% of those things. And that's the beauty of role play. You can, because if you think about it, a lot of people, myself included, I didn't fit in anywhere growing up. Nowhere. No clique in school did I fit. The only place I fit was with some skaters. Like, that was it. And I attempted to skate, and boy, did I always suck. But man, I still love the culture of it. Like, that was me.
I tried to skate. I broke my hip.
Yeah, I felt like it once. But, I never fit anywhere, ever. And so, like, that was part of the reason why I wanted to start casting a long time ago at the onset, was because I just wanted to be heard. That was the start for me. But also, like, I get it from a roleplay standpoint, because in roleplay, you transcend every one of your inadequacies if you want to with your characters. You can, be what you always dreamed of being: adventurous, brave, courageous, just all kinds of personality traits, and so I get it. Fully relatable, and he talked about during this thing, he now dreams of Jane as mom. Wow, Chad. You stay out of my dreams. Anyway.
Through role play.
You don't know me.
Jibs now dreams of Jane as mom.
Hey, she's single. That's all I'm saying. All right. So anyway.
You are so dirty. You are so dirty in your mind.
I am not. Oh my gosh, that escalated. Hey, it's truth. Anyway. No, so like that's the beauty of role playing in World of Warcraft is, for people who may not be comfortable, because I see this often more times than not, some people aren't even comfortable hopping in voice chat, totally get it. That's fine. Totally get it. But you know what? Through their characters, they can live out themselves. And we said it many times before, and I'll say it again. Warcraft is a lot of things to a lot of different people. And it's, that's the beauty of Warcraft.
I agree 100% there. And I think, I had this realization when I got done with watching The Remarkable Life of Ibelin and wiping off my eyes, getting ready to go back into class. I had this realization that, I think it refreshes the reasons for me why in game and in life, we just try to be randomly kind and, as much as we can promote acceptance and kindness and, not just in our real life, but in our guild culture. Yeah. In how we play this game, because you get that realization. And this really did reinforce it for me to just understand and know again that there is a person behind the keyboard. And, if you sense something's not right, then, maybe reach out to that person and if you think that they're hurting, and just be a good human being. Yep. And, see if that person needs something. And, we've experienced it through podcasting quite a few times where we'll just be podcasting. We'll just be doing our thing, laughing it up, covering a game, and we'll get a random email that's heavy. And it's like, it's somebody saying to us that you have no idea what you guys provide for me week to week. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. And the only solace I have is when I log into this game and when I listen to your show. And you want to talk about being blown away at having no idea the reach and the impact you can have on somebody. We've had that experience quite a few times now in podcasting, and that is profound. So it is yet another reminder for us to just be randomly kind. Just be a good person. Yep. So, I've always had a problem with people saying things like it's just a game, especially an online game with a community. I think that is just absolute crap. I think The Remarkable Life of Ibelin completely dismantles that phrase. And that's why I think it's so important that people watch this. And I am so thankful that we were pushed pushed.
I was forced.
Encouraged.
I was forced. I was handcuffed to the sofa. I couldn't get up. My eyes were pried open. Cash flew all the way to Indiana.
You were forced.
I have the scars to prove it.
I believe that we were encouraged to watch it, and I'm so glad that we did. So, another thing that I thought about was why was it so hard to watch that after being a player in Azeroth for so long? Why was it so hard to watch?
It breaks my heart to see someone suffer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I don't like to watch it. I don't like to see it. When I know someone's suffering, I'm like, zoop, right there, man. I'm right there. Because I know what it feels like to suffer, and no, I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. And so watching him endure that, it's tough. That's why.
Yeah, and not even the example of Matt's, but the thought of so many other people in our game world that are going through something. Yeah. And you hear it all the time, like everybody's going through something. Yeah, we get it. But a lot of people are really going through something that's much harder than other people's lives, and those are the people that I thought about. Like you may just randomly run by somebody in the game, and that person is in the game. That's what's keeping them going every day.
Yeah. Yep.
And like that to me is important. And that's why being kind to people is important too. And even when, man, I truly understand how hard it can be at times when people are just real a-holes, but, you try and be kind to people. If a mistake is made in a dungeon, or if something happens, man, it just changes the whole thing when you can just be kind to that person. Just go, dude, don't worry about it.
Yep.
We got it. It's not a big deal. So anyway, I don't want to belabor this too much. I just, I really wanted to get our feelings out about this documentary because it hit me really hard. And I'm glad that it did. Because again, it's just refueling for me to refresh how I treat people and understand and appreciate and be truly grateful for the things that I have in my life, for the ability to do the show, for the ability to get up and go to work, and all these little things that you take for granted every day. And, Matt's didn't have the opportunity to do that, and he still found love and kindness. And it's super profound to me.
Kindness is free, man.
Okay. So the last thing I want to do as we close this one out is, just as a reminder, for Our Heroes Call Board exists because communities and the people behind them matter. And I think this documentary is proof that Azeroth has and will continue to mean a lot of things to a lot of people and really, really change lives. So here's your assignment. Not you, Jibs. I already gave you one.
Yeah, I was going to say, screw you, pal. I'm not doing another friggin' sad documentary. I'm
so proud of you because the text message he sent me was never again.
All caps.
That was pretty good. But what we want to know from our community is if there was somebody that you met in World of Warcraft who's genuinely impacted you or impacted your life, we want to hear your story. So write into us, AzerothMorningRadio@gmail.com.
Breaking news. Brought to all of yous by the Goblin News Network.
We've never really discussed how he sounds on that bumper. I feel like he was incredibly exasperated after an 80-hour work week, forced to be there, and like, hey, we want you to record this right before you go home.
For the record, that's exactly how that went.
Do you remember, at some point we're going to have to talk about this, do you remember that when we originally were designing the show, we were going to have a courier deliver the mail to us from GNN, the Goblin News Network? Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I recorded that when that was still going to be our shtick. And then we ended up transitioning over to having Shifty and Grifty be our two Our 2 assistants. So
I still have that
can't call them
bumper.
assistants.
I still have when he walked in, clop, 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 threw the mail at us, ticked off and left. Yeah.
Yeah. And what did I think he said? Here's your freaking nose.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. Yeah, we still have those bumpers. At some point, friends, we're going to release those maybe as a Patreon exclusive.
We'll do it on our 1 year anniversary.
those.
You know, that's coming up. We're closer to our 1 year anniversary as a show than we are away from it now at this point. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, it's been a blast of a year so far.
Yeah, no kidding. Here we are with 34 episodes. So what is that? Less than 18 episodes will be our 1 year anniversary, which will be the episode right after we get back from BlizzCon. Man, that's going to be one heck of a week.
Oh, man, we're still going to be drunk when we record that episode.
All right, this coming to us from icyveins.com. Want your own private tavern in WoW? Question mark. Patch 12.0.5 makes it possible. So patch 12.0.5 has been out for a while, folks. But we're covering this because there may be a lot of you, us included, who didn't know you could do this. So one of the quieter additions to patch 12.0.5 is turning out to be a surprisingly meaningful feature for the social and RP side of WoW. Players can now privately reserve the Argentina. So for just 5 gold, players can speak to Bartender Bob, which is... I love that name. Oh, gosh. And temporarily clear the tavern of all NPCs and other players, creating a private, phased version of the space for themselves and their group. Anyone grouped with the player can enter the same private instance simply by talking to Bartender Bob as well.
Bob. Hey, Bob. Kick everyone out. Here's a 5 gold piece for you.
Job is done. While mechanically simple, the feature is being viewed as another sign that Blizzard is investing more heavily in social systems and player-driven experiences, especially alongside larger initiatives like player housing. For RP communities, guild events, casual hangouts, storytelling nights, podcasts, tavern meetups, or even just quiet social spaces, this small addition could end up having a surprisingly large impact on how players gather in Azeroth. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think this is going to be massive. You know why?
Why?
How many times have you had RP interrupted by some dill hole that comes by and is just jumping around your RP?
Oddly enough, not as much as you think on Moonguard, but it has happened.
Well, yeah.
It
definitely happens to people. Like there are people out there that will, on purpose, ruin your role play. And do you remember that content creator from Elder Scrolls Online that used to do that?
Just thinking about that.
Yeah. So we, one of the things when we were playing Elder Scrolls Online and covering that game, we had a pretty sizable guild over there, and we were very protective and supportive of the roleplay community. And there was a particular streamer who we will not say his name, probably because I don't really remember it.
I don't remember it at this point. Yeah, it's been a while.
But he was a real dill hole, and he would take his massive guild following and go into spaces where people were RPing and just ruin it for them, jumping around and doing spell effects and all kinds of stuff in whatever tavern or space that they were occupying at the time. And he would just find them and ruin their RP. So what this is going to do is this is going to allow players who want to be social and players who would like to RP in a tavern setting their own space, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's just, it goes off what the article said, investing in social systems and player-driven experiences. That's what RP is. It's player-driven, the whole thing, and gamers, I have yet to see I'm sure there's an outlier out there, but so I say this kind of cautiously, but I've yet to see a game that has a feature that when it's player-driven, like in a good way, people don't like it, So like people love player-driven experiences, especially when it's built into the game, like when they can affect the game. And anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so Weevil in chat just brought up a very good point.
What's that?
There's going to be a lot of ERP in these private spaces.
But you know what? I won't see it, so they can do whatever they want. That's
Yep.
Whatever, dude. I won't be there.
You do you, boo. Oh man, that's actually a quite an excellent point. But that's going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh, the gifts are flowing and they're good. God, you guys. No, I really like this. I think this is great. I do think this is Blizzard investing and moving more heavily into social systems. I think that is a great thing. I think the role play community does get ignored in games a lot. And you want to talk about some of your most passionate players, in other ways, like they're not yelling and screaming about a, 0.2% reduction in DPS for their particular class, but they are very passionate about the game world and Azeroth, the game that they live and breathe in, and they're creating their own stories in. So it is really cool to see some support for the role players here.
Definitely. Agreed. And you know what? I believe Holly said they're going to be doing some more things with that. Nothing was given specifically, but I do know that was one of the key parts, was investing more into role play. So I'm intrigued to see what they do there, for sure. All right, so anyway, you can check that out over icyveins.com. Next up, we have an interesting article. This came to us from wowhead.com. Title is this: Is Blizzard going overboard with casual content? I'm going to read this out here too. Since Midnight's launch, Blizzard has added a massive amount of side activities, such as delves, nightmare prey hunts, ritual sites, decor duels, and abyss anglers. While some of these systems successfully give solo players more things to do outside of traditional raiding and Mythic Plus, critics argue that much of the newer content feels underdeveloped, overly repetitive, or designed primarily to increase engagement metrics rather than provide meaningful gameplay. Features like decor duels and abyss anglers, as examples of systems that may have had potential but launched with poor UI, bugs, shallow gameplay loops, and rewards that don't justify the time investment beyond cosmetics and housing decor. The major criticism is this: filler currencies, recolored rewards, temporary side systems, activities with little connection to player power or long-term progression. It finishes up here. The concern is that WoW may be becoming oversaturated with optional systems, creating confusion for newer players and fatigue for veterans. Instead of feeling exciting, some players feel overwhelmed by constant 8-week content drops that prioritize something new, something to do over memorable experience. From wowhead.com. What's your take on this?
Buddy, I see both sides of the fence. I honestly do. I don't mind all the new side activities that there are to do, but I 100% see that they could be overload for new players. I'm guaranteeing they're overload for new players, especially with the 8-week cycle. Some of the things are coming and going. Some of the things are temporary. They really do. They do a good job of locking you into the game and always giving you something to do. And when there's a lot of things to do, you kind of pick and choose those 2 or 3 things that you enjoy doing, and you do them. And we're perfect examples of that every single week, because the things that we like to do are delves and ritual sites. And, Jibs goes decor hunting and does that. We try the new content and we stick to the things that we like to do. And what does that do? It takes you out of the main parts of the game, which are exploring, doing quests, doing dungeons. It takes you out of those main loops. So when you break down the article and really analyze whether or not they're going overboard with some of these things, I can see both sides of this argument, to where if they were to not do as many of these things and concentrate more on the core gameplay content, that it would satisfy a lot of the people who've played the game for a long, long time and aren't looking for, 10 minutes of satisfaction and a log off. Although their player base is getting older, and their player base are us, people that might not have all the time. So look for the filler. They look for quick ins and outs. So I don't know.
I'm going to fundamentally disagree with this article. Respectfully disagree with this article. I feel as though, first off, when it says critics are concerned about, some of the stuff, well, who are the critics? Are they the 1%? Are they people who are pushing power, their item level, getting every ounce out of, every rotation? Like, what are we talking about here? Or is it coming from the casual crowd? Because if it's coming from the casual crowd, aka us, well, then that may be an actual problem. Because that, a lot of the filler current stuff, it does fit us, and I enjoy it. I enjoyed decor duels. I will say, aside from the mini map thing where you could track humanoids at the onset of the release, which was hilarious that was a thing, I don't see where it was, what was the, trying to find, bugs, shallow gameplay loops, and rewards that don't justify the time investment. Well, that's not a fair assessment, because ultimately you are looking apples to oranges. What's important to one person may not be important to the other. Decor duels, I'll speak to that strictly, is important to me. Why? Because I get decor out of it for my house, because housing is important to me. And you hit the nail on the head when you said they have an aging player base. They absolutely do. Absolutely. Here we are. We talked earlier about age. You're 50. I'm 37. Yeah, we've been around a bit. And we've been playing a while. I enjoy sometimes when I can log into the world for 10 minutes. And whether it's a decor duel or not, like I'm in Azeroth. So I'll be honest, I kind of take a little bit of issue with this article.
So then what you're saying is you're okay with the fact that they're adding things into the game that are for a certain group of people, and they're maintaining things that are in the game and also adding to things in the game that are for a different group of people.
Absolutely, because not all these things will stick. Look at the expansion. What came with this? They mentioned Prey. If I tell you what, if any of the editions of Midnight, Prey has stuck. Prey is doing remarkably well from everything I've seen from the community reaction. So my thing on this is this, like, just because it gets added to the game doesn't mean they're going to keep it going moving forward. If it's a hit, I bet you they bring it back. This isn't anything new that Blizzard has. This isn't like some new thing that Blizzard's doing. They've done this in the past where they add things and they don't necessarily carry it forward. Look at Delves. It was a hit in War Within. What do we have at Midnight? More Delves. What else do we have? More ways that people can get gear. So, I just feel like it's one of these things that naturally plays out on its own. I'll admit Abyss Anglers for me was not really my cup of tea. I was able to get some transmog out of it and I was good, but I'm not certainly going to be bashing on it or anything. I just felt like it was less of a hit for me. And honestly, I don't know that it was a big hit with the community. Doesn't mean it's bad.
Well, I mean, they're probably weighing things out to see what people really enjoy and what they don't. And obviously people enjoyed Delves, so yeah. Delves are going to stick. Obviously people enjoyed Prey, so Prey's going to stick. But my point is, if they were to, like, are they just experimenting with these things? Or are they truly trying to get people to have different things to do? Because if they were to, say not do something like Decor Duels or not do something like Abyss Anglers, they could funnel more time and energy into other things that everybody would also like to do, or a majority of their player base would like to do. Like more dungeon options, or like the labyrinths. That I guarantee you the labyrinths are going to stick, right? So my point is, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I am not against Abyss Anglers. I am not against Decor Duels. I am not against Plunderstorm or any of the other fun events that they bring into the game. I will do all of those things. But there is a realization that when you're doing all those things, if you only have a limited time to play, it's going to pull you away from your loop of what you would normally do. So all I'm saying with this thing is I don't fundamentally disagree with this article. I see both sides of the argument here. I feel like, what would that look like if they were to take some of the new, cutesy little events that they're doing and cut them in half and say, okay, we're going to funnel these teams into the base content of the game and really beef that up. So your main story is not going to only take you a few days to do. It's going to take you weeks to get through the main content, but it's going to be so damn good that you're going to be engaged. And, I don't know, I guess it's probably getting into another topic, but I would love to see an expansion come out with more content and where the story truly brings you to, now you have to do this delve. And I got a taste of it in this one. When in Midnight, you're going through the quest line in Eversong Woods, and it brings you to that first delve. And I waited for it. I didn't touch any delves until the story brought me there. Well, I want the story. That was the only one. Then it stopped. I want the story to continue to take me like where you have to do it. And whether or not you do it in a story mode or just on super easy mode or whatever, but you got to get through those things because it progresses your story. And I think that in order to do that, they might have to move some of the talent from the Decor Duels team and bring them over here. I don't know how it really works at Blizzard, but I'm just saying that perhaps if we had less of all of these little fun cutesy tootsy events, that energy might be funneled into more of the core gameplay. That's all I'm saying. They don't have to do it. I'm still going to play all the things that they bring in. I'm just saying, what would that look like?
Yeah, I totally see that. I think they're not hurting for employees. I'll say that. But yeah, I understand that point of view 100%. And I get why people would say that. But I also don't think that it's fair to say that something like this is a waste of time, or and you didn't say that, but you know what I mean, like that, or just disregard it, because ultimately, yeah, it may take you out of your gameplay loop, but maybe that's by choice. If people choose to do these things, these extra things, and no one's got a ray gun to their head, like, hey, you have to do this thing. It's like, well, they want to do it. So it's just like, if you're in Warcraft, so here's my question. If you're in Warcraft, if you're in Azeroth, playing your character, doing your thing and having fun, does it matter? Does it matter if it's pulling you out of that gameplay loop?
Not to me. I think it can be, for some people, it could be a little immersion breaking, like you're in the middle of saving Azeroth from a freaking incursion. And it's like, some dude comes over with a little quest and hey, you want to play hide and seek? Yeah, that sounds fun. Or, you end up on some dock fishing and there's a troll there and he's like, hey, brother, dive down to the bottom of that water and get me this kind of fish. And you're like, dude, I'm in the middle of saving Azeroth. But I'll totally do it. I'll totally do it. You're going to give me some water socks? Oh, cool, man. Only after you're done diving, brother. Okay. And then you're doing it.
Yeah. Meanwhile.
Probably a terrible example. But.
Well, folks, again, let us know your thoughts on this in the comments, whether it's on our RSS feeds or your podcast apps or on YouTube. It's now time for Snark.
Snark Online.
Ooh, that is the result of a chili relleno.
A what?
Right there. A chili relleno.
What's that? Is it chili?
Oh my God.
Bro.
You are so redneck, dude.
I'm Midwest.
So Midwest.
We listen here, Beach Boy. Not all of us understands that.
Oh, buddy.
You're like, when someone says bless your heart here, that means something.
Oh, I know what that means.
No, you don't. Over here, it means like you're sympathizing with that person. Like, oh, bless your heart. I'm so sorry it's happening to you. It's like it's a thing of endearing, encouragement, and relatability. Over there, I can't say what it means on the air.
Over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it means go F yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you said
that's-
stuffed chilies. Oh, see, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm reading the chat.
So when you come to California
Yeah.
for BlizzCon,
Yeah.
I'm going to get you a chili relleno.
A chili relleno?
Yes, it is a stuffed pepper.
Oh, why don't you just call it a stuffed pepper?
Because it's a chili relleno.
Stuffed pepper.
No. We're cultured here on this side of the earth, okay? And we call it what it is. It is a chili. Actually, I'm going to do it correct. It is a chili relleno.
God bless you.
That actually sounded a little Italian.
Yeah, it did.
there, but no, it's a Mexican dish, and it's amazing. All right, fine. Listen, we got a snark to do, bro.
All right, Pepper
Get
Boy.
snarky with me. Okay. Friends, the segment tonight is called Rebuild or Renovate. Here's a big question. Talked about it last week on the show. We're going to bring it back up this week because we thought it warranted discussion. Do players actually want World of Warcraft 2? Or do they just want World of Warcraft polished and modernized? It's going to get deep because I think there's a lot of points that need to be made here for the camp that would be super excited about a World of Warcraft 2 and what that would look like. But there's some downsides to it. And there's some things that you're going to lose, friends, if we end up going the route of World of Warcraft 2. And this is wall of crazy stuff that we're talking about. There is no World of Warcraft 2. There's the concept of what that would look like if Blizzard decided to move in that direction. But I think there's a lot of things to consider here. So let's get to talking about it. I think the first thing that we need to consider when we're talking about World of Warcraft 2 is the weight of 20 plus years of playing this game. What would that mean to you, Jibs?
Honestly, I go back to Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2, right? Plenty of years in both of those now at this point. But I would say to those who want WoW 2, is there room for 2 for a second, a different, a WoW 2, a full, new MMO release? Absolutely, if they want to do that investment, but you'd still have to maintain WoW, the first one. You'd have to maintain that. Even if it never receives massive expansions again, you'd have to maintain that for people. Because, 20 years. That's 20 years of collecting, bro.
Right. And I think that's the low-hanging fruit. I think it goes way deeper than that.
Oh,
way deeper than that.
1000%.
And folks, I'm not saying that, and I'm sure Jibs isn't either, that we're, on one side of the fence or the other. But World of Warcraft 2 and the evolution of what World of Warcraft is right now would be insane. I would love to see brand new renders of everything in a new game engine. Everybody would love to see that. But what it truly means is losing 20 years of your effort. Or even if you played for a year, it's significant. You're losing a lot of that effort. So there's some points here to consider. So people have accumulated mounts, transmogs, loads of achievements, memories, collections, different titles like my Lore Master title. That would go away. Reputations, rare items, and dare I say, character mains that are probably older than many college students at this point. That is a fact. That is a fact. That some of my characters are older than some college students.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. That is 20 years of history to literally walk away from, because there would be no translation of your character right now into a brand new World of Warcraft 2. It just won't happen. So here's another thing to consider. And I think this is where the meat, I was going to say where the meat hits the road.
Simmer down. There's only one person in this duo that wears the crown of stupid things that they believe to be true and sayings, and it's definitely not you. All right.
I mean, screwing up common sayings.
Common English, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, let me get back to it. This is where the meat hits the road. I think WoW, we all know this. WoW already looks dramatically better than it did in vanilla. So let's get that one out of the way. It looks a lot better. so many things have been upgraded, right? Like lighting, spell effects, character models, draw distance, animation, skybox, everything. There's so many things have changed. But here's the meat. The game runs on low-end PCs. You can run World of Warcraft effectively on a potato. So when you think of it from a business standpoint, why would Blizzard want to alienate so many of their players by raising system requirements?
I mean, that's a valid question, That's a valid question. That's why I say, like, if they were ever to do a WoW 2, number one, you would know it's coming because they would have to hire a team for it. It would be all new quests and everything involved. But you would also still have to quest assist, yes. But also you'd have to maintain WoW 1. You'd still have to, so it's like you couldn't just delete. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be deleted. Like you I would think you need to get that out of your mindset, like that it would need to be, again, Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2. Both still maintained. Both still played. Collections in 1 and collections in 2, So like, I could, do I honestly see them ever doing a brand new WoW 2? No, to be honest. Do I think never say never? Yes, but I really don't see Microsoft taking that chance. I really don't.
So you think it would, the community would split for sure.
It would. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that would be impactful, right? To take players out of retail in its current state and then have them have a lot of those players move over to World of Warcraft 2. I mean, you're splitting your player base, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they already do that with Classic?
They did. But you know what?
Yeah.
Those funds still go to Blizzard regardless. That money still goes to Blizzard. So does it matter? No, I mean, you're just further splitting the community and probably bringing on a whole bunch of new players. Definitely. That's definitely.
Okay. So, like, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, my point is,
just playing
they've already done it.
Advocate. Yeah. Oh yeah.
They've already split people into Classic and all the other various versions of Classic, Classic Hardcore, all that stuff.
Right.
So, I don't really see, I kind of look at it in the same way as I look at RuneScape and old school RuneScape. You're right. They maintained old school RuneScape, and old school RuneScape continues to be one of the most pipe hitting MMOs out there.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, it's nuts to me.
Yeah.
Who is aesthetically shallow.
Yeah.
It's so nuts to me to see that.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, we've talked about RuneScape, old school RuneScape before, and there's just got to be something to that game because there's so many players that play it and there's a cult following. So, yeah, I mean, you're further splitting the community again, but I'm in the camp that I really don't think, because of all of those things, I don't think that players actually want a WoW 2. I don't think players would be able to get rid of their mains. Like, after so many years, a lot of players would not be able to do that. Like, there's so much history tied to their characters. And I don't here's the real test. Okay. When we get done with this show, go delete your main right now.
Why?
That's how it would feel. Just so you feel how it would feel.
I wouldn't delete my main. I'd just go play WoW 2.
I just roll another one. I just barely rolled my main last week.
Bro, you are talking to an alcoholic. You think that's a problem for me? You made me. I have fake goosebumps. The idea of rolling a brand new tune. When we doing this? Like,
a new tune? Oh my God.
No.
You're a monster.
No, it's another tale. Anyway. Yeah. No, I would not do that thing. No.
Okay, then what do you think players actually want instead of World of Warcraft 2?
I think what players actually want, and you know what? It's so funny that we talk about this, because from episode 33 last week, when we were talking about a reset there was a lot of good perspective coming out of the YouTube comment section. People's just takes on it, right? Like, this is the beauty of discussion. That's podcasting, though. Like, everyone has a different opinion. So I say all this. I don't even know what you just asked me. But anyway, I say this to say that I feel like I think there's people who would really want it. But I will say, what should they do? What do people want? It is less cosmic threats, more simplified storylines focused around the worlds we already have, and we've built up memories surrounding these over the last 20 years. Because the reason, and you know what? I've still thought about that reset question. Does WoW need a reset? Like, it wasn't until I took my kiddo to school yesterday or the day before that I'm like, I think I would be for a reset to get back to, and again, let me be very clear. I am not against anything that's going on right now. I love lore. Okay. I love the lore of Warcraft where it's at, but there is a certain level of charm there when the big baddie can go back to being somebody who, I don't know, maybe a priest in we play Alliance, so I'm using this as an example. Maybe a priest who goes rogue, the Church of Light. Maybe they team up with, I don't know, the Scarlet Crusade. People, maybe some dirty underdealings. Things that are more grounded. Things that are less cosmic threat. And because and this is, again, to me, goes back to The Last Titan. This, I really feel like WoW is on the precipice. They could literally take it anywhere they want to take it. They wrote into the lore of the Bronze Dragonflight of different timelines. We have experienced those quest lines. We do that with time walking every month. Read the quest text on there when they say, hey, we need to go back and fix this timeline. They literally wrote a reset into the lore in more than one area. Bronze Dragonflight and then the big red button, right? That the Titan can reset at any time. So it's like, I don't know where they're going to go with it. I truthfully don't know at the end of the day because everyone is so different, and rightfully so, like what they want with WoW, what people really want, if they want a WoW 2 or not. But to me, The Last Titan is like the end all be all. Like, where are they going to go with it? How can you get any I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling. How can you get any bigger than the void and the light? How can you get any bigger than that? It is the epitome of lore where it starts and stops. Like, so it's just like, how much more do you keep going?
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a very well thought out response about where it could go. Cody in chat says you could keep what we have by revamping the world zones that more stories can be told in. And I like that, and just keep adding more. There's a whole other side of the world that can be added with newer tech and engine for WoW 2, new content, and so on and so forth. And I do agree there, and that's kind of where my mind is.
Yeah,
I don't want a WoW 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there now that I, and not just, as a result of the show and the research on this. I truly think that it would be too much they would be asking too much to either A, ask people to leave what they have built for 20 years.
Yeah.
Or B, did I say 1 and B?
No, I forgive you.
And on the other side of it, split the community again, because that it would 100% split the community again, and then have to maintain both games. I just don't see that being feasible. What I would like to do is I would like to see an acceleration of what they are currently doing. I still believe that we are watching World of Warcraft 2 being created in front of us with the revamping of zones. Look what they did to Silvermoon.
Oh.
Now, if we could accelerate that process and start doing that to older zones, and exactly like you're saying, get back to the basics of questing and real stories that happen in a lot of those areas that we know and love, and still to this day I have a better feeling about going to Elwyn Forest and Stranglethorn Vale and Tanaris. I have a better feeling as a player going down there because of the history that my characters have had in those areas, the nostalgia that is down there for me. So if they were to start revamping all of those zones and adding in new stories, just like you said, something as simple as a priest that goes rogue and causes a problem. Something can happen that's not on a global scale that causes the Alliance to be at odds with the Horde once again, and bring those stories back. Expound upon them. That is what I think I would like to see in a World of Warcraft 2. Sure, you can go through and modernize the UI a little bit, but I like the tab targeting MMO. I like the whimsical style of the art. Slowly but surely, as they've already been doing, create World of Warcraft 2 for us right in front of our eyes. Just accelerate the process. That's what I want.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And I honestly think that, I mean, I don't even know that, you know, even at BlizzCon this year, we will get a good sense of what is coming with The Last Titan, which we know is an update to Northrend and going back to all of that. But like, what comes after, and how is Warcraft going to be handled? Like, what direction are we going to go? Because there's just so many avenues. That's the part that intrigues me the most, truthfully, above everything with World of Warcraft. Where are we going to go? And what route are they going to choose to take us there?
Well, I think we're going to find out in September. And I know that we're excited about going there. I know that we're excited about hearing what those panels have to say and the direction that it's going to go. So appears to me we're going to have to wait until then. Friends, what we do want to know, though, hit us up on our YouTube channel or send us an email. Would you play World of Warcraft 2? Would you abandon your current account for World of Warcraft 2? Or should Blizzard stay on their current path of updating and modernizing the World of Warcraft that we currently love and play? Let us know.
There you go. Folks, we're going to go to our lore lesson. We'll be right back to close out the show.
In the long ages after the Titans departed, Azeroth began to live. Life spread across the world, wild, untamed, and growing stronger by the age. In the frozen north of Kalimdor, the skies belonged to the proto-dragons. There were many, some vast and enduring, tied to the world itself, others unknowingly touched by elemental power. But among them all, one rose above the rest. Galakrond, the largest proto-dragon to ever exist. So immense that the beating of his wings could flatten forests. But it wasn't just his size, it was his hunger. Galakrond devoured everything. Beast, prey, even his own kind. And still, it wasn't enough. In time, his feeding twisted him. His body changed. Extra limbs, clusters of eyes, a form no longer natural. Death clung to Galakrond. Those he consumed did not stay dead. They rose again, warped, mindless, and bound to his will. The skies darkened. His swarm grew, and the proto-dragons, divided by rivalry, did nothing until one noticed. Tyr, the keeper of justice. He warned the others, but the keepers did not act. They had grown distant, focused solely on their duties. So Tyr was forced to act alone. He sought out 5 proto-dragons. Not the strongest, but the most capable. Alexstrasza, Flame. Neltharion, Strength. Malagos, Frost. Nozdormu, Sand and Storm. And Ysera, Dream and Will. Different, divided, but all willing. Together they faced Galakrond. The battles raged against the frozen north. At first, nothing worked. His hide turned aside their attacks. Even Tyr fell to him, his hand torn away, his body scarred by Galakrond's necrotic power. But the 5 learned. They began to target his weaknesses, his many eyes, his exposed throat. Not alone, but together. And at last, Galakrond fell. His corpse shattered the frozen land, a place that would one day be known as Dragonblight. They had done what no one could do alone. They had stood together and won. And though they did not yet know it, this moment would shape their future and the future of Azeroth itself.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the show today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We know this was everything from heavy to very deep questioning to all kinds of fun discussions. And like Cash said earlier, we want to hear from you. Let us know how we're doing. So for whatever podcast app you are using, if you could take a moment, we were or are at 99 Spotify reviews. 99. Who's going to put us over 100? That'd be really cool. Anyway, I say that to say,
I'm going to give us a 1 star just to get us over.
They both have no hair. 1 star. Anyway, folks, let us know how we're doing. Truthfully, lets us know where we're at with Azeroth Morning Radio for you. Whatever podcast app you're using. Also, if you are following on YouTube, comment, like, whatever that is. Help us conquer the algorithm raid boss that we're all subject to as creators. So you could also visit us online, AzerothMorningRadio.com. Learn more about Cash and myself there. Get in contact with us directly. Cash.
Friends, this show is for you every week. We love doing it, but it really does come back to the community that listens to us, and we love creating for you. We want to be accessible to you for questions and comments. We've given you a couple of assignments on this show to get back to us with the things that you want to see, and all you got to do is reach out. You can email us at AzerothMorningRadio@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all at Azeroth Morning Radio. And we have Patreon, AzerothMorningRadio.com. All the details are there.
Folks, have a wonderful week in gaming. We love you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here today. We'll see you right here next week on Azeroth Morning Radio. Take care.
Safe travels, adventurers.
Job's done.